Now, this is 6 most disturbing abandoned building encounters caught on camera. I told you we was gonna switch it up a little bit because I feel like we watched the same shit over and over again. So we're gonna start, adding a little bit of variety. You feel what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm not sure what to expect, but this video do got 7 million views, so I'm expecting to see something truly disturbing.
Urbex Hill is one of the most popular urban exploration channels on YouTube, featuring raw footage from YouTuber Chris Hill's visits to a lot of the more extreme abandoned buildings in the US. From abandoned mental hospitals to decommissioned military facilities, Chris explores all of it, but specifically places that a lot of even the more extreme explorers wouldn't visit, at least not at night and alone like Chris.
At night and alone. Video over. I'm back. Chat, I ain't gonna lie, this is scary. Some scary shit, man.
Chris always does. In January 2023, he uploaded footage of his visit to the now abandoned Paul Revere Elementary School in Cleveland. After almost a century of use, the school was permanently closed in 2015 due to declining enrollment numbers. Although there are allegedly plans to turn the abandoned building into a housing complex, as of 2024, Paul Revere Elementary is still abandoned and in terrible shape. From the moment Chris walks inside, it's pretty clear that the place hasn't been used in years and has been severely damaged by the elements, vandals, and the passage of time. The bottom floors are all flooded, the walls are peeling.
I ain't gonna lie, you gotta have some balls to do this stuff. Like, you go in here solo at night. Like, fuck the ghosts, nigga. The crackheads. The crackheads off rip. Like, alright, so, I can't even get my words out. Imagine you walk up to the door, and you about to enter, and you just feel the aura. Like, you know something about to happen. Like, you know that feeling when you just scared, and you don't know why you scared, but you know something gonna happen if you walk in that room. This dude is doing that every day. And he's just walking in, no problems, don't care. He just doing it. Just him and his camera. And he's black.
The structure doesn't seem too sound, and there's rust, random papers, books, and all kinds of debris lying everywhere. Throughout the video, you can see messages written in seemingly fresh chalk on some of the whiteboards, confirming that people have been in the building recently.
Like, it's crazy people in the world. Like, forget the ghosts. It's crazy people in the world. You got devil worshippers. You got just people who want to just catch a body for no reason. You got grapists, and you got serial killers. Like, it's so many things that could go wrong. You got homeless people who just losing their mind. You got people high off drugs who might just go crazy when they see you. You got other people who might be exploring too, and they might just shoot the first thing they see moving. And you down here by yourself.
Second visit to Paul Revere Elementary. When he uploaded footage of his March 2022 visit to the school, several people in the comments mentioned they had either been students or teachers at the school and talked about how incredibly sad it was to see their beloved childhood school ruined by abandonment and lack of maintenance. A little after 10 minutes into the exploration, you can hear some sort of ruffling sound and other strange noises coming from somewhere in the schoolhouse.
Let me guess, he go check it out?
What is that?
Did you just turn the light off? I hear it. You don't need to speak. Run. Somebody's here. Are you hiding?
As Chris turns a
That's more of a reason for me to shoot you. If I'm walking through an abandoned anything and I I see a dude hiding in the corner, I'm gonna. What's up with this man? He must be making good money off this. That's the only way I can think of somebody do something so stupid.
Or in the hallway, another person's flashlight can be seen shining down the hall. It looks to be just one person, who was likely either another urban explorer or a squatter. Still, at 1 a.m. in an abandoned building, it's obviously...
At 1 a.m.? What are you doing? Go home! React!
Which is why Chris ultimately decided to run instead of making his presence known. Making sure to walk in the other direction to avoid running into anyone, he then heads to the library and explores the rest of the top floors. As he goes into the bathroom on the top floor, he has another encounter.
Somebody's in there. Scared the out of me. Oh, man.
At the far end of the bathroom, what appears to be a human silhouette can be seen standing completely motionless. After the initial shock of the encounter, Chris draws his gun and goes back inside to confront
Oh, you
him.
strapped! Oh, you good? Hello? Yo. My boy.
Oh, it's a...
Nah. It's a toy, but how he just fall? Okay, let's jump back into this. Let's get this over with.
Oh, my God. That scared the out of me.
No. The doll just fell. How did it
As
fall?
it turns out, the silhouette was actually a scary mannequin that somebody set up, probably to scare away visitors. What's most eerie is that even though we can't know for sure how long the mannequin had been standing there before the footage was shot, for some reason it fell forward just in time for Chris to see it.
Exactly.
The most reasonable explanation being from the sound waves bouncing off the wall.
The sound waves.
Most people would
Bro,
have
he
left
is
as
not
soon
the
as they
Hulk.
saw the mannequin, but Chris continued to explore the rest of the school, seemingly unmoved by the horrifying experience he just went through. Though not before clearing the entire rest of the bathroom. Sadly, some of the rooms in the school are filled with books, whiteboards, and other perfectly usable materials that could have been donated to another school before the building was abandoned.
That's good money.
But nobody seemed to care enough to give them away before the school was abandoned. About half an hour into the visit, Chris climbs up to the roof, which in itself is pretty risky. Even if you don't care about getting caught by the cops, there's still a very high risk of the roof caving in, especially considering the state of the building when the footage was shot. Fortunately, he was able to climb down safely, but that's when a strange noise could be heard coming from the other end of one of the hallways.
Safe is still here.
Safe.
What's in it?
What's that? That was just the. What's that game? What's that game? What's that game? When you first person is realistic as hell. Hold on. What's that game? I don't know, but now you walk around ready. You point that everywhere you point the camera. What are you doing? Bro,
As Chris explores one of
You
the
losing
rooms,
me, bruh.
a strange howl can be heard in the distance.
Why does the
And
school
as he
even
raises
have
his
a
camera,
safe?
You can clearly see a shadow moving behind the door at the far end of the room. By this point, it's pretty clear that not only are multiple other people in the building with him, but now he's possibly being stalked. Once again, Chris draws his gun and prepares for an encounter, but
Okay.
he doesn't find anyone in any of the rooms.
Okay.
After this, he admits he's ready to call it a night and decides
Yes,
to head
go
home.
home.
but
Go
not before
home.
this final encounter.
Oh my God, it's 5 more of these.
Oh, here it is. This place is crazy.
And it's cold outside?
I remember the last time I exploded.
Why? For what?
Hello?
Go home!
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Okay, I know I heard somebody coming down these stairs. I'm out.
As he struggles to find his way out of the school, the sound of footsteps can be clearly heard on the stairway directly above Chris's head. But after running up and calling out to see if he gets a response, nobody acknowledges
Why
him.
would you run up the
Luckily,
steps?
he was able to walk away unharmed and has continued to upload videos
Look at
of
the
his visits to
path!
abandoned places pretty frequently.
It's a zombies map, bro.
Producer,
That's the map from Dead by Daylight.
Faster. Check this out. I'm gonna start with this loop that I made.
The Proper People is an urban exploration channel owned by Brian and Michael, two friends who travel the world in search of abandoned buildings. For the past 10 years that their channel has been active, Brian and Michael have built up a reputation for being a trustworthy channel that only uploads genuine footage of their explorations. In a niche of YouTube that's often plagued by cheap, fake footage from people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, The Proper People has endured as one of the most reliable channels in the urbex space. They gained their fame from explorations of genuinely cool places instead of faking creepy encounters or anything of the such. In 2016, they uploaded a video of their nighttime visit to the Jemison Center in Northport, Alabama, often referred to as Old Bryce Hospital. From 1939 to 1977, the Jemison Center housed hundreds of psychiatric patients and acquired a reputation for treating them pretty harshly. Often referred to as the creepiest building in Alabama, Old Bryce was closed in the late 70s and has since been reclaimed by nature and become a hotspot for urban explorers from all over the world. As Michael and Brian approach the location in their car, there doesn't seem to be anyone around, and after driving around the grounds for a while, the two YouTubers get out of their vehicle to begin exploring, settling on the basement as the first area to explore. After more than 4 decades of abandonment, the entire complex is almost completely destroyed, and while some of the walls are completely covered
I'm not
in all
going
kinds of
in there,
graffiti,
bruh.
some of them aren't even there anymore.
Look at the
With
damn
the state of
wall.
disrepair of the Jemison Center, there's always a chance that the structure could collapse on itself and trap
Exactly.
Brian and Michael inside. But as
You
they
move
go up the
one
stairs
book.
to explore the top floor, it becomes clear that an unsound structure is the least of their worries.
Whoa, look at this. Look at this staircase out here. Oh. There's somebody there. No way. Yes, yes, see their light.
Where?
They're out there.
They're
I
out
swear
there.
on my life. Right there. Should I say hello? Yeah. There's somebody out there. Let's go back to the car. This way. If it's somebody wanting to talk to us. Let's go to the car now. Oh yeah.
Bro, imagine you go back to the car and the tires
As the
just
camera
pop.
pans to the window, the outline of a person holding up a light can be seen on the staircase on the opposite side of the building. Disturbingly, as soon as the uploaders turn off their light, the other person does the exact same thing, indicating they were watching and didn't want to be spotted. Chillingly, if you rewind the footage to when the YouTubers arrived at the top floor, you can clearly see a light outside the window frame, but it's unclear if the light was coming from the same person who was watching them. After calling out and receiving no response, Brian and Michael decide to go back to their car to avoid getting jumped or worse.
I ain't hear nobody
It's
call
hard to
out.
know what exactly the intentions of the other person were, but what's even more disturbing is the fact that there were no other cars in the area when they arrived and when they left, which means that whoever was there had arrived on foot and probably been there for a while.
Hell no.
Ridgely Hospital was a women's psychiatric hospital in Lancaster, UK that operated for almost 100 years from 1916 to 2013. Famous for being one of the first psychiatric hospitals in the UK that fought for the humane treatment of mentally ill patients, Ridgely Hospital housed thousands of patients and used modern treatment methods such as electroconvulsion therapy to help patients with a range of disorders, from severe depression to obsession to mania. In April
Obsession.
2022, YouTuber Exploring with Tom visited the site with 3 of his friends in the middle of the night. Throughout their visit, they were extremely loud and not aware of their surroundings, which is obviously not the best idea when exploring an abandoned building.
Not at all.
Keep in mind that most of these abandoned buildings are still considered government property, which makes it illegal to trespass and explore the grounds. Still, if you disturb a hostile squatter's home by being obnoxiously loud, getting arrested would probably be the least of your worries.
We're not scared of you. Oh yeah, but I am scared of you.
I think someone is here now, to be honest with you. What the?
After hearing some strange noises coming from one of the rooms, the four explorers call out to see if there's anyone in the building, and this is where things get a little disturbing.
Let's see what it is. He might need help.
He might need help.
Hello? What? Go! 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 Yo! Come! Yo!
I don't even know what's happening.
Everyone okay? Everyone okay? Keep calm. Keep calm.
Why do you have on strobe, bro?
What the? Don't pull you up. Get out. Get out. Get out. What do you want?
Is he chasing him?
As soon as one of the teenagers calls out, a man can be heard screaming from inside the room. Without thinking twice, Tom and his friends make a run for it back to their car, but disturbingly, the man isn't satisfied with just scaring them out of the building and ends up chasing them all the way to their car. It's unknown who the man was or what he wanted from them, but one of the theories that's been echoing in the comments is that he was probably a homeless person who got upset at the amount of noise Tom and his friends were making. It's probably not too pleasant to have four rowdy teenagers burst into the abandoned building you call your home and start yelling, laughing, and swearing. But still, it's good they were able to get away unharmed.
Welcome to Wix Harmony. Take the speed of AI.
I feel like you
and
can't
next
blame
level
nobody
control.
but yourself on that one.
In 2006,
All of these you can't blame nobody
36-year-old
but
man
yourself.
named Vincent Filiat was living in the woods as a fugitive near Lugoff, South Carolina, after being accused of abusing his stepdaughter. In September of that same
What a
year, he
piece
saw
of
a 14-year-old girl named Elizabeth Schoaf getting off the school bus and decided to abduct her.
What
Posing
the
as a
fuck?
police officer, Filiat arrested Schoaf on a supposed marijuana charge and led her to his hideout in the middle of the woods. For 10 days, Elizabeth was chained up and abused by Filiat in the underground bunker beneath the hideout in what can only
Why?
be described as a nightmare come true.
For what?
Still, the girl was extremely resilient throughout the whole ordeal and came up with a plan to escape from the horrifying situation
What do
she
you
found herself in.
gain? Like,
If she wanted to
what kink? What what fantasy? What has to be on your mind for you to even think that's okay? Oh my god, bro, that's like scary as
To
hell.
escape, Elizabeth knew that she had to get Vincent to like her. For several days, she pretended to be in love with Filiat, and eventually the kidnapper lowered his guard, even unchaining her and allowing her to play games on his phone. One night, while Vincent was sleeping, the teenager got a hold of his phone and sent a text to her mom saying she was in a hole across the Charm Hill, that there was a bomb, and to call the police. As it was later revealed, Filiat had planned to draw in as many people as possible to the bunker to detonate a bomb and take the lives of the responding officers. However,
Is this how you wanted to die? Is this how you wanted to live? Look where you staying at. You in a tent. Living like you goddamn in Afghanistan on deployment for a 13-year-old girl. Like, that's crazy.
never managed to carry out his plan. For just a few minutes later, the area was surrounded by helicopters and he was forced to surrender. To make a long story short, Elizabeth was able to move on with her life, and the monster named Vincent Filiat spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2021 in
Good.
his cell.
Good.
In December 2023, a YouTuber named Big Banks visited the abandoned hideout where the terrifying crime took place. Immediately upon entering the house, the uploader finds something extremely disturbing.
I think this was the little girl's backpack that was left here. What a sad sight to see, knowing that that happened.
A little girl's backpack can be seen on the floor outside the kitchen. Although it's impossible to confirm if it belonged to Elizabeth Shove, it is possible that it was planted there after the crime by somebody else.
There's no way that's possible because it would have been taken as evidence. So if that's a backpack there, somebody, that's another little girl's backpack in there. Oh my god, this world is so like bad.
As he explores the living room, the uploader finds more creepy stuff, including a DVD of the horror movie The Strangers, a Halloween decoration next to one of the couches, a shank, a broken baseball bat, and a ripstick. Obviously, the fact that these items were left behind is much more disturbing when you consider the history of the house. It's heartbreaking to imagine that some of the toys lying around the floor possibly belonged to the girl that Vincent Filiat had stolen. Throughout the rest of the house, several objects and pieces of furniture, including the bed in the main room, look like they were placed there much later than 2006. It's possible that the house was occupied by squatters, but because it was empty at the time the footage was shot, it's impossible to know what belonged to Filiat, his common-law family, his victim, and the squatters. Thankfully, after being reunited with her family in 2006, Elizabeth went on to live a fruitful life, and the man who committed the heinous crime against her paid the price for it. Holton Avenue is a notoriously creepy abandoned street.
They got my last name in this name. No. I rebuke anything that's coming from this video. I don't want nothing to do with that street. I denounce it.
In 1913, the first Hungarian Baptist church was built on that street, eventually falling into disuse and being left abandoned like the rest of the buildings on that street. In April 2016, the body of a woman named Jessica Coleman was found there after she went missing, but unfortunately her attacker was never found. In July 2023, Chris Hill went to the location to record footage of the abandoned church, as well as the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. From disturbing graffiti to broken glass and peeling walls, the church checks every box you would expect from a creepy, abandoned building. As he ventures into the basement, Chris finds signs that someone else had been inside the church, including an action figure of Melvin the giraffe from Madagascar that he mentions he doesn't remember seeing the last time he visited the location. Knowing that he's often not alone during his explorations, Chris set up several cameras throughout the church, and about 10 minutes into the exploration, one of the cameras on the main floor captures something pretty creepy.
That's weird. What's upstairs?
Are you in the fucking basement?
Obviously, doors don't just randomly shut themselves, and as it wasn't particularly windy that night, it's clear that someone was in the church with Chris. But after looking around for a bit, he can't find anyone in the church, and decides to head back outside to explore the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. If the church
what do you do if you hear something like that? You still gotta go and collect your cameras.
Like they could collapse at any second. Around half an hour into the visit, he decides to explore one of the most dilapidated houses on the block. And as he's in the basement, the exploration takes a scary turn.
Actually, it looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creepy.
Shoot the curtain.
Sorry. I didn't know nobody lived there. It smelled like I knew somebody was in there.
As he's exploring the basement, a sound can be heard coming from the ground floor, and when he goes back up to find out what it is, a person pulls back the curtain. Immediately apologizing, Chris runs back out to the street, and that's when he realizes that despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, there was actually someone living in there with electricity. Clearly most, if not all, of the abandoned buildings on the block were housing people now who didn't want him there, something he never encountered on his first visit. And with this newfound discovery, Chris called it a night.
What if he would have chased you, bro?
In February 2020, urban explorer Ridham Ryder explored an abandoned house at an undisclosed location with his exploration partner Zay Clark. According to Ridham, the house used to belong to an old woman who had passed away. In complete contrast to most abandoned houses, most of the woman's possessions had been left untouched, indicating that the house had not yet fallen prey to looters and squatters who often take things that aren't theirs. All throughout the house, the two explorers find everything from beautiful tableware and silverware to ornately woven tapestries and a fully equipped bar. Based on the calendars they found in the house, the property hadn't been occupied since August 2018. Just a few minutes into the visit, Ridham and Zay find something incredibly sad and disturbing.
I was worried about something like this happening, and then it did. When we walked in here, we took a few steps in the door, and we saw this on the ground. Now, for those who can't figure that, figure out what that is a body stain. And you can see right there, there's a walker. So, unfortunately, it seems that the woman who had lived here had taken a bad fall, landed on the floor, and that's where she expired, unfortunately.
Man, hell no.
It's extremely sad.
You see footprints.
It took us a good 20 minutes to decide what we're going to do here, and despite it feeling weird, we figured we still need to tell the story because this is a good reminder to everybody that you need to check on your loved ones. It seemed this woman had passed and was laying here for God knows how long before she was found. So check in on your loved ones, guys.
Right in the middle of the hallway, a human body stain can be seen on the floor next to a walker,
That's not,
indicating
I don't like
that
that
the
at
old
all.
woman probably had a bad fall and couldn't get up. Sadly, she passed away and her body decomposed before anyone could save her, which is a terrifying way to die.
Golly,
There appear to be signs
bruh.
that the woman's family members tried to sort through her things after she passed away, but overall, her various belongings are in perfectly good shape, including her bathroom supplies, which were still there at the time of the recording. It's hard to watch the footage without having conflicting feelings. Even though the house is beautiful and you can easily tell that the woman who lived there with her husband was a talented, outgoing person, it's incredibly sad to see
This
how she
world
met her
is
end.
so
Overall, the
scary.
footage should serve as a reminder to check in on your loved ones every time you get the chance.
Things could go
because
wrong
nobody
in like a
deserves to pass
second,
away like
and
that.
everything could be over.
Since
bro.
2020, Ridden with Ryder has
It don't even gotta be your fault. Alright, chat. Well, that's gonna do it for today. Honestly, man. Hold on. I've been practicing this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.